So, welcome guys to our podcast today on how to 10x your social media lead conversions. Now, Matt, this is sort of very poignant title that we're using today because a lot of guys that who are getting a lot of leads tend to fail on the conversions, and a lot of what we want to talk today to you about is basically in our background. So, Matt, you want to introduce yourself, who you are, for those who are guests today?
Sure. Matthew Loop, best-selling author of Social Media Made Me Rich. Here's how I can do the same for you. I've been training chiropractors way back since the MySpace days in social media, practicing chiropractor, got really good at social before anyone, including myself, ever knew what it would become. And then grew my office, and then I had other docs asking me, hey, what are you doing? So I began showing them, and eventually that turned into an online course and began speaking around the profession. And so I've been very fortunate to consult with many thousands of chiropractors over the years, specifically, and to share the stage with some pretty amazing people on social media, digital marketing, leveraging the way that you position yourself and how to convert, and ultimately to be, I guess, to grow your impact and your influence in your community. So that's kind of my Cliff Note background.
Cliff Note. All right. I'm Dr. Mike Reed. For those who've never met me before, I am CEO of both Chiropractic Masters International. I'm a chiropractor by trade, and we started doing some digital marketing, helping doctors with funnels. Basically, I would say that Matt and I both have a superpower of helping drive traffic and drive businesses into seven figures. And really, that's where we got together 10 years ago. And just to pre-frame, this is sort of a prelude to what we run every year. And this is Matt and I are actually having an anniversary. I'm always laughing about that, but this is our 10th annual Ultimate Caribbean Adventure Mastermind. It's coming up end of April. We love to have you guys join us. So stick around to the end. We have a special offer. Know you're going to love. But today it's really about how to take the leads and how to 10x those, how to get those prospects to patients. And Matt, I know you wanted to sort of pre-frame a little bit about that, first of all.
Yeah, it's interesting when we talk to a lot of chiropractors and business owners. Traffic seems to be the easier part of the online marketing game, but the conversion seems to be more difficult, whether it's on the website, whether it's through a form on Facebook, for instance, or whatnot. And so you have to understand the mindset of the consumer these days, since they're saturated with ads every single place, nook and cranny, and maybe even in your market, you've got 10 other docs that are running maybe similar ads. So it's really important to stand out and be different, number one. But two, you also have to think about how you position and pre-frame in the market. The great news is that 90% of everyone is not going to do what I'm going to tell you to do. I've done it over the year. I did it before I consciously was aware of what I was doing. But most doctors and business owners, they won't, because they don't have the patience. They think, well, I need to get something now, so I'm going to create this direct response ad that looks like pretty much everything else. They're not going to create this fertile ground and position themselves a certain way. So before we get into the methodology of the actual follow-up, it starts way long before that. So the goal is to take some of your best content and push it out there on these channels and push it out to your ideal audience. So if you have a local audience here in Atlanta, females between the ages of 30 and 55 plus, in a perfect situation, you want them all to know who you are. You want them to know your story, why you do what you do, and people that you've helped. And there are ways that we can do that. You could take Facebook and Instagram, for example, where you can advertise and push content out there, get people to see your stuff, and then have them respond, or as they engage and like and watch your videos and all that stuff, we have the opportunity then now to come back around to those people over and over and over. It's kind of like those shoes maybe that follow you around after you've been on Amazon. Now they're following you around on every single site. A few days later, you see those same pair of shoes. Some people call it retargeting, remarketing, but it's a process of, before you really make the hard ask, you plant those seeds. They know who you are. They get to build that rapport, and that creates it exponentially multiplies how you convert in the formula that Mike's going to share in just a couple seconds. But from my experience, I'll tell you that most will never do this because they don't have the patience. And now, I think Facebook, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say it was around 2010, they started to usher in their advertising platform. And I was just kind of fortunate right at the beginning to start running ads then. And throughout. I don't think I've ever turned an ad off. Well, I've never not ran ads on that platform, let's say for, however many years, 14 years. And over that time, because even if it's for a year or 6 months, if you're constantly putting your message out in front of the market and you're training people what to think of your message, that just gives you this uh, much better foundation. So when you go in for, let's say, if somebody's having numbness and tingling issues in their arm, or if they're having a back issue, or if you just want to invite them in for an appreciation day or a massage or whatever your offer might be, your uptake is going to be much higher. So, Mike, go to the next slide and really explain that follow up process.
Yeah, and I just want to pre-frame this too, Matt, because I think you said the key word is patience. And I want to emphasize too, what's really important is dollar for time, because when I ask doctors, did you do your lead follow-up calls? A lot of them say, well, I didn't get a chance to get to it. And I ask them this one, sort of important question is, what's your case average? And if they don't know their metrics, they don't know the numbers, then there's no reason to even bother do a follow-up, because you don't know what that phone call or that email or that SMS text is worth. So one of the keys is knowing your metrics, knowing your numbers. Now for us in our practice, the PVA is about 70, and if you're looking about 50 on a average income per visit, you're around $3,000, $3,500 per case average. Now, is that worth a phone call for me for 2 to 3 minutes? Absolutely. So I'm going to share the formula that says, hey, I'm going to get these leads coming in. It's not just quality leads, Matt. You'd agree. It's quality leads, but the follow-up is the second leg of that stool. And the third leg is the ability to close people. So you have to have a sales acumen that you can actually go in and you can make your offer. You can get these people to close. So don't think it's just about new patients, because it never is about new patients. It's quality new patients, it's the follow-up and the sales. And that's a triad you've really got to nail down in this system. Now, I'm sharing this with you because when I put $1 in my social media machine, I'm currently getting $6 back. So I am very, very anal retentive. When I look at the ROI, I look at every person that comes in, I look at their case average from social media. So there's Facebook, there's Instagram, we do Google, we're adding YouTube to Dr. Trina's practice. Why? It's another marketing pillar that I can add. If I can measure and monitor that, I can fine tune and turn up my ad spend. Because if I'm getting 6 to 1, it's like being at a Vegas casino, Matt. If you get two aces or two eights, what do? You split those, because the chances are you're going to have a high return on investment. The same with your marketing. So we watch it like a hawk. And I discovered that if I can use what I'm going to show you here in my system, that works like gangbusters. And Shireen will be over probably 60,000 extra income this month just from social media. I mean, that's huge. So we're looking at 7,200 in this month. We'll have over about 50, 60,000 at the end of March, just an extra income, never mind parlaying, families, referrals, and everything else that we do in our systems. So systems are important, having your systems down and then integrating something like this on the follow-up, then you can have profit at the top of your pyramid. So one of the most key important steps, number one, is the speed to lead. And what I mean by that, the Harvard study showed us years ago that if you have a lead come in and you can actually call them within the first 4 to 5 minutes, Matt, you're going to close that person 400% more so than someone in 15 minutes, in an hour, never mind a day. So this is what I discovered to some of my clients. They're like, oh, I didn't get a chance to, I'll call them tomorrow. No, you got to call them when they're hot. It's like, you have an opportunity to meet an amazing person, you're single. It's like, take that opportunity and jump on it. Same with lead calls. I was doing lead calls this morning. I do lead calls for my wife's practice for about 15, 20 minutes. I'm training my associate to do it as well. So we sort of do best practices. And I was doing lead calls, and all of a sudden, boop, this name popped up on my lead system. So I use Go High Level. I use an Excel spreadsheet. We sort of beta test both of those, split test those. But what I discovered is if I can call that person right away, I got on the phone, guy goes, wow, that was quick. And literally I got his email a minute earlier. He goes, yeah, I've been thinking about seeing a chiropractor, mine retired, and boom, I just booked him in. As simple as that. Is that worth it to me? At $3,500, a case average? Absolutely. So I really want you guys to think about that. And now if you can't get to the calls, right? If you're using Matt or myself and we're getting you the quality leads, if you can't get to the calls, you hire somebody. You find a call center, whether it's Filipino or local, or we have a call center You just find someone that can do the calls for you. So lead to speed is critical. The next is the AI SMS text. So our CRM that we use is Go High Level. It's a very robust, all-inclusive umbrella sort of marketing approach. You can do that, or you can use like an Excel spreadsheet that's going to collect name, email, phone number. Remember, email has to be collected. Of course, you need their names, you're talking to, and phone number, so you can use text. Now, why would we use text over email? Text is going to give us 90%, 95% open rate versus email, which is probably 5% at best. I'm going to use email because that's just another channel people are going to turn to. Some people like email, some people like text, some people prefer voice. So I'm going to use an AI SMS text to actually get that open rate. Now it's going to hit them in the first minute. The way we do everything, everything's tagged. So person's tagged. So if they're sort of floating in the ether and they left their information, the SMS text is going to hit them. Hey, Matt, are you interested in booking that appointment? Click here. Hey, Matt, we're waiting for you at Health First Chiropractic. Are you ready? Click here. So they're going to use a system that's SMS text to their phone, and people would prefer text than being bombarded with calls. But that happens in the first minute, and then the next 4 minutes, I'm going to do what's called a double call. Now, this is best practices. This is what's happening in the digital marketing world. You call once, they don't pick up. You don't leave a message. You don't leave a voicemail. You give it a minute and you call a second time. And it works. It's crazy. I would say 50% pick up the second time. And, sometimes people are not near their cell phone or, and it's early morning. I call about 8:15, 8:30. So we do a second call, and this is the 3-2-1 system I'm talking about. And if they don't pick up on that second call, it's usually in the morning, I'm going to leave an email. So I have a template. I send in an email. I'm going to send them a text. So I have it already just populated on my phone, put in the number, boom, it's gone. Takes me a minute. And then that 3 stands for the third call, Matt, that I'm going to do about 4 o'clock, another hot time. So people say, hey, Mike, when should I be calling? Well, you call at 8:30 in the morning before they go to work, 8:15, 8:30. You call at 4 o'clock. That's the second hot time. And then noon when they're on lunch. And those are the only times that we call. But I've delegated a lot of that to my associate. I'm training her, I'm helping her out. But that system works. And then it's a repeat on day 2. Day 2, it's a call in the morning and then a call in the afternoon. I'll send an email and a text. And then day 3, it's a third call, just one. So 3-2-1 stands for the days on the first, second, third day. 3 calls, 2 calls, 1 call. And then we just hit the email and text. Now you can automate this because what happens on day 4, we do a continuity email that automatically, if they didn't sign up because they're tagged and the word booked goes in our system, on day 4 and day 6 and day 8, they get an automated email system. And then we hit them at day 14. Why do we do day 14 and day 30? Because no means no for now. And people have crazy busy lives. They have no attention span. So what we do is we just drip them in the email system day 4, 6, and 8, and then they get it day 14. And you'd be amazed how many people will come in like weeks later. Oh yeah, I still had your email. And that doesn't even include the retargeting that we use in Facebook. 11 o'clock at night, they're in bed, they've got that wicked migraine, and all of a sudden they get retargeted. That happens automatically. So this is usually people coming in from the first, well, I call it a welcome email, that 2-minute Facebook video or that 15-second video that we use. And then there's a retarget that sort of chases after them down the road. But I found that getting them when they're hot and that first day is critical. Open rates or closing rates, I should say, or I should say booking rates from that first lead are really, really high if we can hit them hard on that first day and second day and third day. And beyond that, you go after them days 4, 5, and 6. Forget it. The conversion rates are very low. They've got the text, they've got the emails. If they're interested, they'll come in. So that's where we just sort of leave it. And the other thing I find too, Matt, this is really, really important, is social proof. So when I want to increase my lead conversions, and this is a strange phenomenon that I found when I was acting as exam doctor in Shereen's practice. I used to ask patients, so how did you find us? Oh, I Googled you and I found you on Google, or I saw your Facebook ad and I came in through Facebook. But what was interesting is they all went to the website. They wanted to make sure we were legit. And they went to the website and they looked at our Google reviews and our testimonials. So your website, whatever landing page you're using, has to have lots of video testimonials, preferably overwritten, and lots of social proof. So above the header on our website, we have what's called a Google review counter, and that just flips. It shows all the people who've booked. So you can see with Provely, you can use Provely as well. But that's just going to flip and show all the people that have signed up. And then if people do Google, I want to make sure that my ranking is high in the top 3, preferably. And I also want to make sure that I have more reviews than any of my competition. Guys, I can't emphasize that enough. People are going to look at reviews. I know when I buy something from Amazon, it's like, I got a choice. I bought some dumbbells the other day for my gym. And I'm looking at all these different dumbbells. What did I went straight to the reviews, 86% versus 64. Yeah, I'm going to take the guy with 86. So the social proof is critical. And then the other thing, I was just talking to a friend of mine. He sells, Matt, listen to this, a $40,000 high ticket offer. So he does ADHD. And he sent me his video ad. He says, "Hey Mike, what do you think of this video?" I said, "Hey, it looks great, but two things you're missing: social proof." And I said, "Your ad is very institutionalized marketing. It's not direct response." I said, "You need a very compelling call to action." So that's the other thing. Don't just say, "Hey, go to my website." Make sure you have a very compelling offer. And that's what we talk about, the stacked offer. Have a high value of everything that you're offering, and then make it an affordable entrance fee, like a 97 or 197, whatever it might be. And when we're doing this, we're finding that we're just quantifying our lead generation through the roof. And there might be a few other things I'm missing here, but this is a
Wanted to add
nutshell.
something.
Yeah,
Wanted
absolutely.
to add something there, Mike, with the social proof element too. And you made some really great points. If you have been featured, let's say, on television, or if you have celebrity social proof, or if you maybe spoken or done stuff at Ivy League schools, or you're a best-selling author, in that first email that you send those leads, like, there's the Google review element of the social proof online. However, there's also a big wow factor, and I learned this a very, very long time ago, that people, they absolutely trust what they see in the media
Right.
or on TV, or if you've been featured in different places, or if you've got the right celebrity connection, so like perceivably. And so if you have any assets like that on your initial email, say, hey, if you want to learn more about, check out our Google reviews, go to this link, and hey, if you want to learn more about the docs, see the attached PDF, and you'll learn. And that, just kind of like I do in my coaching pamphlets or whatever, like, here's my credentials, here's who I've worked with and whatever, but here are these other things that just position me, or would position you, way above every other doc in your town. So the earlier you can do that in the interaction, the better, because they're likely going to not mess around and try to search for other chiropractors, especially when they know you've got the most Google reviews, plus you've got all this other media credibility, celebrity attachment, or you're connected to all these prestigious institutions. So there's a really subtle thing that can just make a massive difference in your conversion. And I have clients of mine, for example, one that I'm thinking of in particular, he's just been fortunate to get photos with different celebrities, and he has these posted in his consultation room in his clinic, for instance. In that room, never fails. Somebody will go in there, they'll sit for a few minutes, they'll be looking around, and then once he gets into the room, they'll ask him, "Oh, your picture. So how'd you meet Sylvester Stallone, or how'd you meet, so and so, or whatever?" It always comes up, and he said, "This is going to sound childish, but I found that ever since I did that, my conversions increased." But it's not childish, because people kind of they want to feel they've got their doctor has the magic, the stardust, like rubbing shoulders with other influencers. So it's just something to consider online, though, too, in that first interaction.
When I was a kid, Matt, I used to watch Three's Company. I had a crush on Suzanne Summers. So when I think of Matt
Who
Loop,
didn't?
who didn't? When I think of Matt Loop, I think of that picture you have at
Oh yeah,
Harvard podium, and the other one you
yeah,
sit
yeah,
knee to knee with Suzanne Summers. And I go, dog, and of course your book. So that
yeah.
authority building you do so well, which I think helps put you on a higher pedestal. I agree that sort of celebrity status, authority building with social proof really just kills it. And that's something that if you have an opportunity to get a picture with somebody who is a celeb, absolutely do it. Put it on your website, put it in your practice. One of the things I think about, Jason Dean is a good friend of mine down in Florida, and Jason does a podcast. He's on Brave TV. He does a lot of neat stuff, but people will come to him for hours to drive to do his parasitic cleanses just because he's got that celebrity status. Even with my wife, she's doing her podcast, and it's funny, she cannot go out in the city and people point at her and go, I know you're the girl on Facebook waving, you're the one, that podcast. It's just like, now she's become a celebrity, and she's like, Mike, I don't know if I want this. No, baby, you want this is actually good for business, so run with it, right? Yeah.
And
So
this is where we talked about most people, unfortunately, most docs, they don't have the patience to run content to their markets. And even if you've got stuff that doesn't, like what you would think, perform in the short term, you're going to be able to stick it out, and eventually you'll hit a tipping point in the marketplace.
yeah,
You will. It always happens.
yeah.
Now, if you're in a massively competitive city, well, you need to really fine tune your audience, but it's a nice thing to be recognized and known for the right reasons. And when you do hit a tipping point, you're going to get referrals just based on the fact that, like, you're kind of that, like, you're the celebrity chiro, or perceivably the well-known chiro locally or whatnot. It's a really nice thing that happens. I had one client, he sent me an email a couple weeks ago. I just remember he was in some Vietnamese restaurant, and of course the his server, she looks at him and she looks down at her phone. She looks at him again, and she turns her phone around, and it's one of his videos where he's adjusting some patient or whatever. She's like, I see you all over, doing stretches and all these things and whatever, and I can't believe you're here in the restaurant. And he didn't really know how to respond to that. He just smiled. He's like, oh, thanks, glad you enjoy. But it's a good feeling, right, to be known for the right reasons.
It is. And the other thing, talking about a question I often get, Matt, is, which social media platform should you use? Just to give feedback on this, and just some of my stats, my metrics right now, is I'm still finding that, with regards to social media, Facebook and Instagram are still crushing it for us. Now, we get the most leads from that. We're anywhere from 30 to 60 leads, depending on our ad spend. But the conversions, the bookings into our practice and conversions to new patients is about 75%. However, on Google, I get less people coming into her practice, a higher quality. So I think Google is more of a warmer lead than you see with Facebook, and our conversions are closer to 85% versus Facebook. But both have a high return on investment, roughly 6 to 1. I think Google is about closer to 4 to 1, and then right now, for compared to our ad spend, and then Facebook is higher than a 6 to 1 currently. So if people are asking, hey, what sort of platform should you use? And then you and I always talk about email. Email is important as well, making sure you have your continuity email system going. And I mentioned email continuity here. So even though you collect name, email, phone number, and you've done this sort of voice call, email, text, and you might have a continuity for that new patient campaign, make sure you take that email, guys, and drop it in your practice continuity email. That means that should be at least an email that goes out weekly, maybe an easing once a month. And then what happens, that person stays connected to you by email, and somewhere down the road, that migraine, that back's going to flare up, whatever the issue might be, and they're going to remember you, because people have busy lives, and no means no for now. And then you're in front of them all the time. They're going to eventually use your services.
Absolutely.
All right. So any other aspects of
If you guys have any questions, you can
yeah,
certainly
feel free
post
to
them below.
pop it in the
We
chat.
Mike and I, like he says, we've hosted the Caribbean Adventure Mastermind. This was our 10th year. In that particular training, of course, it's in a great location, turquoise blue water, white sand, and Atlantis is a very cool, family-friendly place. We do 8 to 12 all 3 of those days, so you can have the afternoons to yourself, or join us on the yacht or the catamaran or whatever. But it's a very high quality room to be in. Number one, you're going to find a lot of successful doctors that are crushing it with social media in there. And we present a lot of content, yes, that will help you grow, but events like this, even more so, because I attend a lot of seminars, and I know you do too, Mike. But I like content, but I go to really make connections and build relationship capital, because there have been countless times that I can remember where you're just in a room with high performers. They're thinking different. The conversation's different. You're sharing ideas too, like, oh, you're doing that. And like sometimes those simple, subtle tweaks can be worth another zero to your bottom line. And unfortunately, especially if you're a chiropractor watching this training right now, you're not going to get that in a CE room. And I've spoken at a lot of CE credit events and associations, and wonderful things to say about them. However, the quality of the attendees and what they're there for, and to really, really nail down and mind share with successful docs, it's a bit more difficult to sift versus being in a place where people have invested in themselves, high quality. Like, these are coaching clients of ours that are doing high 6, 7 figures and beyond. So we attract a really good crowd to that. So if you like the idea of learning more about this process, not just the conversion, but new social media growth strategies or AI, where the puck is moving, you definitely want to meet us down there, because it's going to be a phenomenal, fun experience. But to be in the room with high performers is just, that's kind of how I live my life right now. I want to be around people that are just thinking bigger. And I think in the world that we live in, if the conversations that you're having, man, I'm not optimistic about certain things in the economy right now. And the only way that you're going to be able to beat that and stay on the cutting edge is to be around people that are just way ahead of the trends. So, just an FYI.
Yeah, and I agree, Matt. And I think in today's economy, I think you touched, sort of the big elephant in the room is that in today's world, with the prices going through the roof, you cannot rely on just one source of income. You really need to focus on others. My wife and I, we have a very busy brick and mortar, her practice. We're starting a regen practice. We have her online virtual. So this applies to virtual businesses too, guys. If you want to learn how to create a superpower and create a virtual, I have my agency as well, like you do, Matt. So like we have 4 businesses, 3 right now. I'm currently building a 4th, but you can apply this to anywhere. I mean, I have clients that, I'm doing one for a spinal decomp company. I have a software company. It doesn't matter. You can take all of this knowledge and just apply it to anything. And ideally, think with the end in mind. Where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years from now? Financially, even working. Like if you're a chiropractor, do you still want to be bending over people, adjusting, doing a 9 to 5, or would you rather be on a Caribbean beach and with your laptop and enjoying the laptop lifestyle? And I think that's what people really need to sort of deep dive into themselves and ask, where do you want to be? Like you, Matt, you love to travel. You're over in Switzerland, you go all over the place. And we're the same. We like the warm climates down in the Caribbean as well, like you, but we like to travel. We like to move around. We have, exit plans and game plans of what we want to do, the products that we want to create. So the diversity of what you can do with the social media and digital marketing is really untapped, and it's untamed. You can go anywhere with this. So I
First,
want
it's, first you adjust, if your practice is the primary breadwinner and you're loving that and you're still enthused, by all means, practice, get to the
Mhm.
level where you can practice when you want, how you want, but refine your social media systems. And the reality is this stuff is not going anywhere. And it
Uh-uh.
seems like it even changes more frequently now based on like what's happening in the whole world with the AI. I mean, it's scary how fast things are evolving. And I have some predictions. I'm not going to lay them out now, but I just think that you got to be disciplined, and you got to execute with high speed, like faster than we have ever had to before, because those that are using AI, for example, like I've got a lot of clients that are using AI, strategies with like SEO, ranking websites high on Google. If you're going to use a strategy, if you're going to compete against somebody like that, the old way, there's no possible, you can't do it.
Right.
It's you can't do it, because you can't keep up with the volume, the quality, like all these different things that can be churned out with the use of AI. And so we have to use these tools. They're not going anywhere. Social media is not going anywhere. Attention definitely shifts. I know, at least for us chiropractors, Facebook, when we get on, sometimes we might get an anxious and anxiety feeling. Like, I don't want to be on Facebook right now. But it's not about you. It's about being productive. Number one, turning yourself into the producer, not the consumer, because a lot of people are still on these channels, your ideal target audience. But we have to have multiple pillars: Instagram, the TikToks, Google, X/Twitter, LinkedIn, like all these channels are ways that you can generate traffic from people that are diversified. Like maybe 5 years ago, we could say that, you know, all you need to do is Facebook. I would never say that anyway, but like a lot of docs could get away with just doing Facebook because it was just much less competitive, right? And you didn't have to split test as much as you do now if you're talking about ads. But nowadays, you need to be on all these different channels, and you have to test more and more and more versions. You know, like at our Caribbean Adventure Mastermind, that's where I know we both share different swipe copy that's worked well for other clients. So you can kind of plug and play and see, oh, yeah, these variations do this and do that. It just makes it a lot easier than trying to wing it on your own.
I would agree. And it's important, Matt, you touched on the AI, the exponential changes. We used an AI platform just for the SEO for our practice, and it just pushed us up tremendously. I think the amount of extra income we made from just that one AI app, unbelievable. It's like, why didn't I know about this earlier? But the AI apps that were just coming out, in this last year in 2023, and it's changing quickly, exponentially. And you got to be able to keep up with these changes, or you become, I believe, obsolete. So, for those of you listening, I want you guys to raise your hand if you want to guarantee your success and practice growth with social media and digital marketing, because Warren Buffett once said, "An idiot with a plan can beat a genius without a plan." I truly believe in that. So Matt and I would love to have you join us, a very special 10th anniversary mastermind of like-minded doctors, entrepreneurs, and arm you with the resources, strategies, hacks, and tools from our years of training. And it's probably combined over, 50 years of training and proven experience, and take an active role and empower you to stack the deck in your favor. So we're going to fast track you guys and give you all the hacks and strategies that are going to make you successful and make your success all but inevitable. So it's not going to be like Matt said, it's not a CE credit. We're going to give you something that's totally irrelevant. We're not there to blow sunshine up your ass. It is the relevant content that you need in 2024 to be successful. So this is number 10. We're at the Atlantis, Bahamas for the number 10, the Ultimate Caribbean Adventure Mastermind.
Great for
Those are the
families
dates.
and adults. Like, I mean,
Families,
they've got
adults,
they
bring a
got
team.
both. Yeah, both of those things. And there's so many activities to do there. I mean, if you come in a day early, you can find some amazing excursions in the islands around, like the
Yeah.
Exumas. If you follow me on my Facebook, maybe you've seen pictures where we went to Pig Beach. So if you do come in early, we've got some good stuff for you.
Absolutely. And there's a
And
bunch of bonuses, because no great seminar would be complete without bonuses. So Matt's going to gift you his 16 copy and paste headline templates. This is swipe copy, guys. All you need to do is plug and play. This stuff is really easy. I'm going to give you my 2024 seven-figure empire social media and digital marketing report. It's basically what you should be doing in 2024 to make yourself successful. Matt's going to gift you a 30-minute Zoom consultation. So he's going to take a bird's eye view of your social media, critique it, and give you some constructive criticism. I'm opposite. I'm going to go in and take a look at your business. So I set up what's called a business audit. We actually look at your audit or your overall practice on your numbers, your metrics. I'll make 5 recommendations, and I guarantee that that alone will pay for this social media mastermind. We're also going to gift you guys a ticket on we have this amazing, massive catamaran. We're going on a cruise. We're going to gift you a bonus ticket on that. You can buy extra tickets if you want to bring your spouse, etc., for $497.
yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. We're also going to upgrade you guys to a VIP. That means you can come an extra day, which is the Thursday, which is the 25th, and you're going to get some advanced training. And Matt and I really just deep dive into the businesses. So you're in a mastermind group. It's like a circle format. We deep dive into your business. We look at how we apply the social media components to your business, and you're going to be taking copious notes. Most guys are ready to go home after that one day on that Thursday. So we're going to upgrade you to the VIP. That has a $4,000 value, and you're going to get a dinner that night with us as well. So Linda has got set up a VIP private dinner. So the mastermind doesn't happen just in the morning, guys. It's usually about 7:30 to about 12:31. It continues in the afternoon on the adventure mastermind stuff. It continues in the evenings. So it
And
continues all day
and I
long.
will say, Mike, that and I speak for myself included, some of the most powerful breakthroughs are again, you're hanging out at the pool, and I've had this in my own life many times where you didn't even know you needed something, and you're talking with somebody that's just thinking different at a much higher level. You're like, oh, I get it now. Or they've got
Yeah,
something that you just all of a sudden can apply to your practice or your business that's going to exponentially multiply things. That's, sometimes if I'm able to look even with it's like 10 minutes into your personal like practice and get close and seeing your ads and all these things, and introduce you or connect you with X. Like there's just a lot of possibility that happens. So again, events are investments in your success.
absolutely. And we want you guys to grow. It's amazing how many doctors will come year after year after year to keep deep diving into this stuff. We
Mhm.
also have a lot of bonus bundles, guys. So we're hanging out at a bar on the Friday night. We have some recordings that we're going to gift you on five-figure profit multipliers and some power profit strategies to attract more business online. You're also going to get email support with us. You get conference calls on a monthly basis. You also have the VIP over the shoulder. We're going to show you how to start a business online. So I'm going to show you how to get going with funnels and things like that. You're going to get Matt's best-selling social media elite practice growth tutorials, 60 videos, and his 365 chiropractic graphics package, and his seven-figure Rolodex of resources and materials. So we're giving you guys a lot of bonuses that you'll have as a resource that you can start using for your businesses. And you're gonna get all bonuses, guys. So you get the copy and paste headlines, my marketing report, you get a Zoom consult with Matt on social media, you get a practice evaluation with myself, you get the cruise ticket, and you get upgraded to VIP. That has a over $6,000 value. I mean, that's just a sort of market value, guys, about 6188 to join Matt and myself for 3 days of full immersion, balls to the walls. It's all about how to build your business strategy more so online, how to track more, how to make more, how to have more enjoyment in life. We're also going to give you a guarantee. It's our UCAM 2024 Make You Happy guarantee. If you're not happy by Saturday, guys, you can come up to us and say, hey, I want my money back. Not one person has ever taken us up on that. That's last year's. We were on a 110-foot yacht in Mexico. I mean, that was a blast. And I'd love to do that again in the future. But this year we have a massive catamaran. So you guys are going to get all of these bonuses. The real world value is closer to $100,000. I've discovered when people work with Matt myself, they typically grow between 250 to 500,000 a year. My average client typically grows in that ballpark, 100, 200, 300,000 per year. Guys, your investment is a paltry 1597 or three payments of 567. This is the last opportunity to do three payments. We've decided to extend it until the end of this month. So if you guys are like, oh man, I don't have the 1597 right now, Dr. Mike, you can drop 567 for the end of this month. We'll charge you one more time in April and then another time in May. 567, guys, that's peanuts. Those are 3 monthly investments that are absolutely nothing to start make seven figures for the rest of your life. So we'd love to have you guys join us at the Ultimate Caribbean Adventure Mastermind. UCAM.fun, guys. If you go to UCAM.fun, UCAM.fun, that's where you're going to see more about the Adventure Mastermind, what we're actually talking about. We have 2 guest speakers as well, which you're going to want to come in and listen to as well. 1597 or 3 payments of 567. If you guys have any questions, drop them in
And
the
that
chat right
photo,
now.
this photo is not photoshopped either. You can go to Google and
Yeah.
look at, and again, it's just a beautiful place and a location. You can find secluded areas in this. And by the way, if you have a CA or whoever's implementing your marketing, it certainly would be good for them to come. We have docs that bring their CAs to these events. But if you're the type of individual that executes on a regular basis, I mean, if you're not going to apply anything, this is not for you, obviously. But if you execute, if you get stuff done, and you're just disciplined, this can change your life. Obviously, social media has changed my life. I don't have to tell you my story. You can read my book, and that opportunity still. I mean, it's still as good today as it was. Yeah, things change, which is why we keep our finger on the pulse of this stuff and what's working and how to best apply it. Uh, the good news, and there's always good news when things change, as let's say docs have done Facebook marketing successfully for so long, and all of a sudden they've hit a wall this last year. It's not
Mm-hmm.
working too well, or Instagram's not working too well. Why is that? Well, it's because you had the same ad running for 6 years, or the same 2 ads of styles. Like, you've never varied it up really. You've lived on good times. Everything's been totally, cloud nine. Well, the game has changed. It's going to get a lot harder to profit if you don't have access to resources and people that are just doing things in a different way, right? And this is always applied, but I think that more so in the world that we're living in right now, you got to know how to stand out, and you have to be able to split test really well on these channels, and get access to the information and be able to pivot fast, execute fast. That's the name of the game.
I agree, and really being able to pivot and change, especially with AI. I mean, this it's incredible what it can do for your business. In the chat there, guys, I've put the URL, just ucam.fund. You have to just type it into your computer, and then there's info@prosperity10x.net. That's my email if you have any questions. I just realized we didn't have Linda, who normally drops the links in there. So ucam.fund, guys, info@prosperity10x.net. If you guys have questions, just email me. I'd be more than happy to help you out, get you hooked up with Linda.
If you have any questions right now, I mean, we have a couple minutes, so just drop it in the chat, whether questions about the process, the follow-ups, social media, or about the Caribbean Adventure Mastermind here in Atlantis. Any questions?
All right, and you guys can probably unmute yourself too if you have a question, but it's probably easiest in the chat. So just drop it in the chat. We still have a number of doctors on this call.
And if technology does hold up, we will send out a replay and forward this to a doc you think that can benefit. Obviously, people need to know about these updates to make their life easier. A lot of docs swim against the tide there, and unfortunately, you can't do things like you used to.
And Matt, we're going to cover all the pertinent platforms this year: Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, TikTok, which is the big one, email marketing. We'll touch on websites, funnels. AI is the big one that we really want to hit home with. So we're not going to leave any stone unturned, guys. You pick and choose the platforms you want to be on. You see our strategies, how we use direct response, which Matt and I are big on, how we attract, how we grow, how we back in and multiply that once people do come into your business. There's multiple ways of creating value ladders, which I'll be covering as well. And you can take it up to, the very top, up to 5-figure sort of tickets as well. So
and sometimes it's just the most simple things initially too. Like really, depending on where you are, maybe you are a beginner to all this process, maybe you're more advanced. We'll kind of get to where you are specifically and be able to sit down and have a conversation and say, oh, you're here. Here's what you need to do to now get to here. And based on our experience, that's going to be relatively easy to find. So even if you're just starting out, because we have, in the past, a lot of beginners that have attended this event, the goal is to get one system in place and then build and build and build and build. And eventually that snowball turns into an avalanche quick. So we'll, we're again, regardless of where you are in your learning curve, we'll be able to help you.
Right. Absolutely. I'll be touching on how to sort of set up an EOS, entrepreneurial organizational system, how to get your business platform going so you can actually run multiple businesses, guys. And that alone is sort of exciting sort of realm that's really not been touched on in the past. So any other questions, guys? Drop in the chat. We have one question. Thank you, guys. I'm very grateful for free information. Always giving back to the profession. Matt, you're more than welcome. Thank you very much for those kind words. We appreciate that. All right. No other questions, guys? ucam.fun. Email me at info@prosperity10x.net. I'm more than happy to answer that. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. We'll get the replay out to you tomorrow in case you came in late or in case you wanted to catch some more of this and listen to the replay, guys. Thanks for being with Matt and myself, and hope to see you down in Bahamas.
Have a great day.
Hi, everybody. Dr. Mike Reed.
Dr. Matt Loop.
Welcome to the Ultimate Caribbean Adventure Mastermind. Matt, who should be here?
Anyone that loves great content, connections, brilliant entrepreneurs, and just doing big things in life and business.
Great times, great friends. Are you guys having a good time? Yeah! We want you here with us next year. We'll see you soon. All right!